representative now that has not made his presentation.
Okay, I won't hold you. I just want to say, I'm against the war in Iraq. We need a withdrawal of the troops. It has to be timed. Whether it's 16 months, 3 years, it has to be timed. We may have to leave residual forces behind for stability. I support education. I believe everyone deserves high quality education and support the funding for education, especially in relationship to No Child Left Behind. Now there's some language there that has to be amended. We'll talk about that at another time. I'm for universal health insurance as opposed to universal health care. I'm for universal health care. When we talk about universal health care, we got Brother David Ornlaker here, who's a genius and a very good brother. I think for me, when you talk about universal health care, we're talking about employing all doctors and making them government employees. For me, universal health insurance is the better way. National security, coming out of Homeland Security, working in the intelligence division. I want to see our country safer from terrorists, but all of that is available for you to read. What I want to talk about are LGBT issues. That's really why we're here. To say it vocally, to speak out on it. You can read about me later. When we talk to elected officials, all of us use universal language. We should use universal language. That's proper in politics because we're representing a mixed constituency. But for me, when I talk and we talk, we try to talk about fighting discrimination and bigotry against white brothers and sisters, against black brothers and sisters, against Jewish brothers and sisters. But when I talk, I say those things, but I also say we need to fight against homophobia. I don't say all people, I say fight against homophobia. Let's be clear, let's be concise. Grew up in a neighborhood, a tough neighborhood, 25th and Park. You had a lot of machismo, uber male model there, but you also had within that mix gay and lesbian brothers and sisters, transgender brothers and sisters, going to high school, those brothers and sisters who chose that lifestyle openly were attacked, beaten, ridiculed. Some of you know this history. And this gets very uncomfortable to talk about. And it looks like, where is he going with this? But when I talk about that, as a representative, I want to fight on your behalf, not to amend the Constitution to put bigoted language in the Constitution. I don't think it's necessary. Are you for civil unions, Andre? Sure, I don't care what goes on behind closed doors in the person's bedroom. I don't care what goes on outwardly. For me, it's about being bold. I'm a heterosexual brother, but I support the LGBT community. I can say that with boldness. I don't have to wiggle around the issue. I think it's unfortunate that we see political leaders who like to pimp the LGBT community when it comes time to vote. That's unfortunate. We have to be vocal. We want to work with you. I want to work with you on your issues. But we look at different cases, and particularly, many of you remember an incident with a relative of mine where there was a situation of discrimination. It was a drug deal, clearly, and other issues that were unacceptable. I condemn those kinds of acts. We look at the don't ask, don't tell policy in the military. I'm open to changing that kind of language and repealing the don't ask, don't tell policy, because I think it encourages the kind of discrimination that we need to fight against. Coming from law enforcement, had assigned to a partner for 6 years, lesbian sister, tough sister, whooped behind with the best of them, still facing the kind of discrimination within the law enforcement structure, traditionally male-dominated, traditionally discriminatory against gay and lesbian brothers and sisters and transgender brothers and sisters, having to deal with those issues. I want to fight on your behalf. I'm not a pro. I can't tell you, all the issues. I'm not Barney Frank. But I am an advocate and I'm willing to listen. Oftentimes the issue of age comes up. And for me, I think experience is important. I think age is important. But from what I see from those who have so-called experience, I don't see the boldness. I don't see the courage come out. I see a complacency and being comfortable with the status quo. The young leadership is saying, no, we're against discrimination across the board. And I want to fight for you as a young man who's unafraid to stand up. Let me know your concerns, 925-9112, that's 925-9112. Let me know, thank you, God bless.